We are live in Lakeside, California at El Monte County Park in Lakeside. This is the Staging and Incident Command Center, and we have a very special person right here. If you'd introduce yourself and spell your last name for us.
Good morning, Robert Johnson, CalFire San Diego County Fire Public Information Officer on the Monte incident.
Okay, and I've been following the CalFire page, obviously, because this is my community too, and I see that it's about 90% contained, which is good news. You can kind of tell us about Tuesday. I happened to be in the grocery store in Lakeside. I walked out. There was a bunch of people pointing east, looking at the smoke, and I said, "Uh-oh, this is a big one." Kind of tell us of the beginning and to what we're at right now, and all the resources that are here and have been here.
Yeah, crews initially responded. They arrived on scene on the Monte incident to find a vegetation fire burning in rural, rocky, rugged terrain. So the incident commander, based off of the current conditions, the fire activity, requested additional resources to respond to this incident. Based off of the needs, we received resources from multiple agencies throughout San Diego County, as well as other parts of the state of California. This is a unified command incident. There are multiple agencies involved, and CalFire is currently in unified command with the United States Forest Service to run and manage this incident. The fire is currently holding at 1,051 acres and is now 90% contained. One of the biggest challenges fire crews have been dealing with on this incident is steep, rocky, rugged terrain. Now, these conditions are not conditions that firefighters are unfamiliar with, but due to the conditions here, there was areas that were inaccessible by ground resources. One way that we overcame that challenge is multiple firefighters were flown in by helicopter to some of these remote areas so that they can continue to build on containment lines, as well as extinguish hotspots in those areas that were inaccessible by ground resources. The crews that were flown out were on scene of that location, the remote area, for approximately 3 days. They are self-sufficient crews and they are able to function and work multiple days in a row, but they do need logistics, supplies, and support as their shifts continue. So we were able to utilize aircraft to fly what's called sling loads out to them, and in those sling loads there's going to be equipment including water, Gatorade, additional food, as well as supplies for their tools, maybe replacement tools if tools were damaged, files to sharpen their tools, equipment for their chainsaw, including fuel, so that they can continue the process of building on those containment lines. The fire activity has greatly reduced, and with that, the main priority right now is to focus on searching for and extinguishing hotspots within the perimeter of the fire. With the fire increasing in containment, as well as crews extinguishing those hotspots, we are able to reduce the size of the incident and start releasing resources. So many of the resources that have been assigned to this incident that are no longer needed are going to be released to return back to their home units, their home station, and return to normal work.
So the firefighters that were flown in, obviously it's by helicopter, right?
Correct.
Okay, so how many do they fly in at a time, and do they actually like put little tents up there? I mean, are they actually stay those 3 days, or are they flown in each day, or are they stationed up there, and then that's all when the supplies come in, which you just mentioned?
Yeah,
how does that work out?
There was multiple crews and multiple firefighters assigned to those crews, and for the total approximate 3 days that they were out there, they are self-sufficient. They are going to stay out there and remain out there for the duration of that shift. So they were flown out once, they didn't shuttle the crews back and forth, they're self-sufficient for multiple days, and then they flew them out. So the crews, now they did complete their assigned task out there. They made great progress, they worked hard throughout those days, throughout those shifts, but then since they have been flown back and now they return to normal work.
You know, in talking with some of the residents yesterday of El Monte Road, you know, there's a lot of horse ranchers, cattle, and regular homes too. And it looked like when the fire started, as I recall, it was moderate wind. It wasn't really a strong wind day. However, it looked like everything was going east, because if it would have went west, these homes would have all been threatened, right?
Yeah, early on in the incident, there was approximately 10 structures that were threatened. They were within or near the perimeter of the fire. In the initial stages of the fire, the fire was moving in a general northeast direction, northeast, and it was mostly driven by the steep slopes, the steep topography, which contributed to those rates of spread that we were seeing. Fortunately, the direction that the fire was moving, there was not any immediate structures in the area the fire was moving. Fire crews and the incident commander, one of the main priorities early on was to defend any structures that were threatened, as well as after the fire moved through, to extinguish any hot spots around any structures that were within the perimeter or near the perimeter of the fire, just to ensure that it was safe to do so before we allowed those residents to return. Since then, all residents that were under the evacuation orders have been allowed to return back to their homes, and we don't have any reports of any damaged or destroyed structures near or within the perimeter of the fire.
So those structures that were evacuated, that had to be east of here, right?
That is correct, east of our location.
Like going toward the dam.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I can tell you that the residents that I spoke to, many yesterday and the day before, they're extremely grateful of all the firefighters, the men and women here, and all the different agencies, because that, you know, it is dry, but fortunately we didn't have lots of wind over the last couple of days, except yesterday. We had some moderately strong wind. They're very grateful. As a matter of fact, they put up a banner yesterday, and I actually filmed that story, thanking all the firefighters and LEOs too. How long do you think, you said about 90% and mopping up and hot spots and so forth, sir, about how long, barring any other flare-ups or anything, do you think this park will be a park again, and the firefighting part will be done? I'm sure there's investigations going on too. How long do you think before it's 100%?
Well, it's hard to say right now, but over the past couple days, you did bring up the weather. Over the past couple days, we have been seeing an increase in favorable weather conditions. We've seen lower temperatures, higher relative humidities, which tends to assist the firefighters in building those containment lines, extinguishing the hot spots, as well as it tends to contribute to lower fire behavior, fire activity, which is a good thing. So we mentioned earlier about the reduction in resources today. The incident commander, as well as his team, is going to base the needs of this incident based off of the current and expected fire conditions and fire behavior. With that being said, yesterday some resources were released, and part of that is due to the increased in containment, the favorable fire conditions, as well as he's starting to downsize the size of the incident, which is a good sign. Moving into today, additional resources are being released from the incident, and the incident is starting to downsize again, which is a good thing. So although we do not have a definitive time on when this park will return back to normal operations, we are slowly starting to downsize the incident and start to continue to allow people back into areas that are under evacuation warnings.
And before we wrap up, sir, you have any message to the community at Lakeside, our unincorporated area here? Pretty tight-knit community, and they're all concerned with the fire. As a matter of fact, we had 2 other fires this week in Lakeside that were put out fairly quickly. So this is the 3rd fire, but this is the big one.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about that the community is thankful for the firefighting crews, and the firefighting crews do acknowledge that, and they are appreciative of those thank yous and the support that they're receiving from the communities and the surrounding communities, as well as the county as a whole. One thing for the residents, as many know, is fire season in California is no longer a seasonal event. It's no longer just in the summer months. It isn't a year-round season now, as we saw this year in the month of January. So we just want to pass on to the residents of San Diego County, as well as throughout the state of California, to remain vigilant, be prepared, have an evacuation plan prepared with your friends, your family, and the members of your household. Have a go bag ready, planned. In the event that there is an emergency, you're able to grab that go bag and leave at a moment's notice, and you don't have to pack up your important belongings to be able to evacuate, as well as continue to maintain that defensible space around your house. The defensible space, maintaining defensible space and having good defensible space, as well as a home that is hardened to protect from embers, is truly an important aspect to protect your property, your structure, of any potential oncoming wildfire.
I want to thank you very much for your time, and please give my best to all the men and women who wear the uniform and have been out here. Again, thank you so much.